moment that we set out to achieve and create Black Tie Digital was very much at the time where I guess digital assets were just coming into the market. There had been a lot of quick wins, a lot of gaming, meme disruption heading around, and what we thought about and the inspiration was definitely on the commercial placement side of blockchain and how it was going to impact, I guess, not only the industries that we're in, but the industries that we're closely associated with. So real estate was obviously a big one for us, given the background of all the other entities that we have. Obviously, B2B trading, how business owners were going to start getting their mindsets around digital assets, how they were going to basically revolutionise the whole financial system is where that little spark came from. That thirst that we all had to say, we know this is going to be probably the biggest disruption in our generation, and it's going to have such a widespread impact. We definitely need to get ahead of this curve. We need to get educated about it. We need to be there to help others on the journey. And that's when we sat down and definitely went through the creation of Black Tie Digital and started working on target projects of where we thought would be the most impacted first. And for us, the challenge has been being in Australia. One of our core points that Black Tie relies on is our compliance here in this territory. We could have taken many easy routes along the way that said, register in a domain territory that is not strict on its compliance. It would have allowed a lot more quicker growth. But at the end of the day, for us, having that touch and feel presence in Australia, having the correct licensing that we need to run our projects here, very important to us. So, biggest part of the Black Tie journey has been the compliance journey, and there's been certain wins on that we've been able to really get ahead because of that compliance. But there's also been some setbacks, and it's been many a moment where we've thought, have we made the right decision on making sure that we stick all our compliance here in this country when we could have taken a bit of an easy route. But that's definitely, I think, the key of our Black Tie inspiration was, let's get on this journey, make sure that we can get ahead of the curve and understand how it's going to impact all these businesses that we're associated with, and how can we make it better for everyone in the future and in Australia. I think it very much is the appropriate name for us, given that we're building bridges in between the traditional Web 2 space and the Web 3 and even into the Web 4 space that we're all heading into now. We are commercially minded, so the whole Black Tie scenario visually put us into that sort of bracket where we believed that we could make the most commercial impact. And obviously digital is just, it's who we are, it's what we do. I guess the most pivotal experience in my life is our family's legacy business, BBX. We have managed and operated that business now for 31 years. And it is definitely has been the biggest shaper on aspects and visions that we've had for Black Tie. We've looked at how blockchain can impact commercial communities, and that's sort of where we focus all our efforts. And the way that BBX has impacted that, with the community building in the business space that we've been working on all our life, basically, for the majority of my life, has been where the biggest impact was in the direction of Black Tie. Of course, being an integral part of Australian real estate network and commercial channels there, it's definitely one of our core focuses has been all the real estate, how the blockchain is going to impact that. We're working towards now, obviously, the release of our property fund, one of the first property funds in this country being released to retail via the blockchain. That's been a huge journey, but we're dedicated and really focused on that journey for many things. The big point of that is being able to open the possibility of real estate investment to the much younger generations here in Australia, we believe is absolutely critical, because there's really no other solutions coming out there in the market right now about how we're going to get young Australians into property in the future. I know, when my children are ready to go out and buy property, if there wasn't solutions that we're providing now with the property fund, there's absolutely no way they could go out and try and save and put deposits onto property. It's just not possible. So, the creation of Be For Real, we've been able to get those staking credits working, backed by our developers, with a key focus of helping those Australians into property. And now we're further advancing that with our own property fund that we're able to release to Australians. I believe we've finally solved a problem that has been an absolute scar on Australia as to how we are going to get our young Australians into property ownership. I'm not aware of any other solutions out there that are fixing this problem. A lot of government solutions are just band-aids. There's no fix to it. I believe ours is an end-to-end fix, and on my personal level, if that's the only thing I've achieved in my life, I'd be proud of that, knowing that we can actually help Aussies get into property faster and set them up and their future generations here for life. So I'm very passionate about that. That's one of my big takeaways and impacts to society that I would like to leave behind, and hopefully we've achieved that. Absolutely. Starting a business at this day and age is not for the faint-hearted, and you learn a huge amount of lessons along the way. Even us who have been in business for decades, working through the biggest challenges that Black Tie have ever had will definitely be compliance, and working through them have been moments of total frustration and having to push ourselves through barriers that we thought we couldn't break at some stages. And in fact, there has been some projects we couldn't push through that compliance barrier. And when you've got those moments where you've been working so hard at something, one of our projects, Be For This, we worked on for over 2.5 years to get to a point where there was no further we could push that project, and to admit to that face on and provide a solution to everyone who worked on that project with you was definitely a huge challenge that Black Tie has faced. And I think at the end of the day, there is no such thing as a business journey that doesn't have its stops and its starts and its challenges. It's about how do you manage them, and how do you look after your community, your supporters, your team, everyone that has been on that journey with you when things don't work out. So that is a real challenge for a CEO. There is no right or wrong answer, I think, when it comes to how you manage those situations, because they're all different. But I think the strength comes from pushing through and moving forward. Look, I think the most rewarding milestone for Black Tie would definitely be For Real and the property fund. I can't stop smiling about it because I'm so passionate about getting those Australians into property. It was always a fear for, as I said, not just my kids, but I also see it now impacting our older generations. Our retirees, our retirement system in this country is maxing out as more generations get older, and they're not prepared. As a country, we're not prepared. So being able to have a system that can not only help the younger generations, but definitely our older generations and future generations holistically, that's been my, shining star. Very proud of it. I'm proud of how the team has worked at this. The compliance journey for putting a property fund onto the blockchain, fully registered in Australia, out to retail investors, has been 3.5-year journey. So it is a very big commitment financially, but also for anyone who contributes to this project. We have to work very hard as we work through these journeys. In the commercial blockchain space, there are no quick wins. If you want to do it right, you've got to do it hard, and once you get there though, that program is invaluable for not only for the business, but everyone who's contributing and is part of it. So, I'm proud of that. I can't wait for it to hit full market in June. And after that happens, I'm definitely going to need to take at least 4 weeks off, because I haven't had any time off since we started Black Tie, where I'm not 24/7 on phones or available. And that's going to be a bit of my mission, I think, once we finally release that. And I'm so proud of it. I'll be taking 4 weeks off before complete blackout, and that will be something very rare. My role at Black Tie has taken many different paths. Each project has its own team, its own advisory group, its own consulting partners that work with it. So being challenged by each of those particular teams on those projects is probably where I've learnt my most significant lessons. Every day, being the CEO here at Black Tie is an education journey. It's an education on absolutely brilliant millennials that we have in our teams, how easy their understanding is about the intricacies of blockchains and blockchain programs versus a lot of our senior Web 2 type team members. Companies been operating for quite some time still struggle to get their mindset around the intricacies of some of these blockchain projects. You're definitely navigating in between those dynamics, and you yourself becomes that go-between where you have to have an intimate understanding in depth of those projects and how that technology is working. So you can always sort of bridge gap between the teams, but we're bridging between Web 2 and Web 3 space on a daily basis, and that's an evolution. Okay, that is working through things where blockchain was first put into things. The idealism would be it's distributed, there's no control, to now the realization that technically large commercial projects always be a hybrid type solution, in my view, and is the view of most clients' programs that we run through. Pulling those type of things together on a regular basis and navigating that is definitely a CEO's evolution, and it's been my evolution here.